Direct from San Francisco, California. In the heart of the Tenderloin. Welcome to the Kiff and Ang Podcast. San Francisco Lockdown Edition. A subsidiary of Kiff and Ang Productions in association with Kiff and Ang Studios. Online at kiffandangpodcast.com. And now, Kiff and Ang.
You went to the doctor for a pimple in your ear, and
I didn't know it was a pimple in my ear, first of all. I live alone. I got nobody to look at my ear. I tried to take pictures of my ear with my phone. It wasn't working, okay?
So you thought you had COVID-19.
I did not think I had COVID-19.
So you went and got 3 more tests, like I said you would.
I didn't think any of that.
You went to the ER, though. And why? What happened when you went to the ER?
I had an earache for 3 days, and I had been doing all this, I put peroxide in it, the hot compress, taking this acetaminophen. Sure. And then finally, like on the second day, I just Googled ear infection COVID, and they're like, oh yeah. And I was like, fuck.
You've definitely got it.
So then I was like, by the third day when I still had it, and it was worse. And this time, by that time, my whole like ear passage was like swelling shut, and I couldn't hear out of it.
Yeah.
I don't
know if everybody's been through it. I've definitely been through the ear pimple. Ouch.
I never had an ear pimple before. Not that far in my ear.
Yeah, no.
It was like way in there. So then I go to the emergency room, and the people who were taking my information, like, they weren't wearing gloves. They didn't really seem to care about touching my ID or anything like that. I didn't see them.
And this is in San Francisco. What hospital was this?
St. Francis. Okay. Up on Bush. Yeah. And I didn't see them use any hands. I didn't see them use it. It doesn't mean they didn't, but I just didn't see it. And so then, they right away, they didn't, like normally they triage you in a space. They're like, they take your stats and then they decide whether they're going to put you in a room or, that kind of thing. None of that happened. They just took me straight to one of the rooms that is glass enclosed, not just one of the ones where you just pull a curtain around in the emergency department. It's one where they just shut the whole glass door. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking at the stuff that's in the room, and it's none of the normal stuff that's in an emergency room. It's not like Band-Aids and all the cabinets that are open are like for the shit that they show on TV. It's like, here's the respirator, here's the suction, here's the, it's like a COVID. And when the doctor came in, I was like, am I in a COVID room?
So yeah, we had them all converted. We got so much money from the government for doing it.
No. It wasn't converted. It wasn't converted. She explained to me that is normally a trauma room, which is now being used as there are 3 rooms, and they put them in a temporary containment room. And once they've come into that room and discussed your symptoms further with you and, done whatever they need to do, then they determine if you go to the actual COVID quarantine space, which I could not see from where I was at. And she just looked in my ear and she goes, you got a pimple. Oh. I was like, and I told her, I was like, look, either I got an ear infection and I'm dying, or there's a pimple in my ear. Or because I don't feel like anything crawled in it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a very severe pain, and if you don't know what it is, it will.
And I live alone.
We did not tune into the Kiff and Ang show for Dr. Pimple Popper, but
I know, right?
That being said,
are you recording this?
Yeah, I'm recording this. Now, look,
good.
Did the doctor offer to pop your ear pimple, or did she think you'd get the COVID?
No, she said that it was too far back to be fussing with. That I shouldn't be sticking anything in there. But she's not going to stick anything in there. And she gave me eardrops that were steroids and antibiotic together. And so I put the eardrops in while I was there, and then I put the eardrops in last night. And then, like, in the middle of the night, I woke up just furious about my ear for some reason. It just hurt, and I was like, it's a freaking pimple. So stupid, and I just stuck the Q-tip in there.
You did what I told you to do on Facebook.
You did. I did. Yeah,
All
I
right,
did.
all
And
right.
it hurt like horrible. But I mean, I wasn't going all the way into my eardrum. You
But
know how you can
before,
tell when you go
listen,
too far,
before I ask you more about what the ER was like in San Francisco during the crisis, are you feeling any relief this morning is what I want to ask.
That it's not the COVID.
No. I mean in your ear. Is the pressure gone? Did the Q-tip
Oh, yeah.
work?
Oh, entirely. Yeah.
Okay,
I can
good.
hear on my ear and everything. Yeah.
All right, now let's go back to the ER. So you went to the ER. How did you get there, first of all? So you think
I
you've got the
walked.
COVID. So you walked. Good.
I just walked over there.
Good. You went in.
That's what happens when you live in the city. You can just
You
walk.
just walk places.
You just
Yeah, for
walk
real.
there.
I have a kick scooter that, I'm old school. That's how I get
Do you
around.
still have a pink one?
Heck yeah, I've got like 3
All
pink
right.
ones. Buy the Razors. I don't even get paid by Razor, but I should. If you're going to kick scooter through San Francisco, Razor scooters are the way to go.
I have an electric scooter.
Yeah, but that's how I get fatter. Anyways, so you went into the ER and nobody was wearing gloves or...
But there was nobody in the ER.
Okay.
There was nobody in the waiting room. They had half the waiting room cut off with a bunch of chairs pushed across it, right?
Yeah.
And so there was nobody. First of all, I thought, it's Sunday morning. I went first thing in the morning when I got up, Saturday morning. No, Sunday morning, yesterday morning. And so I didn't expect there to be people in the waiting room of the ER. And with everybody in the shelter in place, I mean, how many people are really getting, hurt as much as they were?
No, everything I've heard is that hospitals are pretty empty right now.
Yeah.
But
So I kind of figured that. But staff-wise, I only encountered the single person that you register with. There was nobody else behind that glass but that one person. And you just push your ID and card underneath, and then they push stuff back and you sign things. And I gave everything back. I have my little fanny pack of
Say that again. You say whatever you said after I gave everything back. You cut out.
Oh, I gave everything back, and then I sanitized my hands because I carry, I have the COVID fanny pack with all of the COVID, your masks, tissues,
gloves,
sanitizer, gloves,
sticks.
Yeah, it's all in it. And so then I just went and sat because I didn't really want to be in an emergency. I didn't want to be in the hospital to begin with because, for sure in my head, that's the place that you're going to get it. So I just sat on the chair and tried not to touch anything.
Yeah.
And I successfully touched nothing the whole time I was there after I signed in.
Did you ask the doctor or any of the emergency personnel about their experiences right now? Is there any anecdotal stories or anything?
Well, so there's HIPAA. And HIPAA is the privacy thing. So they're not going to tell me those stories in that environment. You know what I mean? I gotta, if I want those kind of stories, then I'm going to have to ask my nurse and doctor friends, after they have a wine in them.
Did the doctor laugh at you when you thought you had COVID, but it was just a pimple?
The doctor thought it was hysterical that I tried to take a picture in my ear with my phone. And she thought it was so funny that I could see her through my closed glass door animating my whole story to the nurse talking about the phone. So, but the doctor had the whole plastic face thing on.
Yeah. Oh, the whole face mask. The welding mask. The welding mask.
Yeah, the welding mask thing. She had gloves on. She was all, but when they decided I didn't have, the COVID.
The Rona.
And the Corona. Hey, we got to get, it's not that. It's the CCP. It's the Chinese Communist Party virus, which we're going to talk about that today. Well, on the next episode that you record, you got to keep this.
The opinions and topics discussed in any Kiff and Ang production or show are meant to be controversial, provocative, and possibly create a conversation that is not already being had. The most important thing to remember about this production is that it has zero educational or historical value other than from a purely popular parody perspective. By listening to this podcast, you understand that it is solely for entertainment purposes. Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, parody, scholarship, and research. Kiff and Ang Productions is meant to provide parody in an already difficult life. If you find no humor or entertainment in our productions, well, for goodness sakes, don't listen.